right, recording has begun.
All right. Well, welcome to the Library Board meeting on December 21st, 2021. Let's call the meeting to order at 5:08 p.m. Will you please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Roll call, please.
All right, Aaron.
Here.
Tony.
Here.
Camille.
Here.
Gail.
Here.
Nancy.
Here.
Tracy.
Here.
And excused is Barb, Alderman Wolf, and Michelle. We have a quorum.
Very good. Statement of public notice, please.
This meeting was noticed in accordance with the open meeting law.
Thank you. Public comment. Not seeing anyone from the general public this evening. So let's move into consent agenda. Approval of minutes for the November 16th, 2021 meeting. And to place on file the library financial reports covering the month of November 2021. So at this time I will entertain a motion for approval of the consent agenda, please.
I so move.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second?
Sure, I'll second.
Thank you. Discussion.
I'll keep this quick. On page 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 in access points to the library, and then page 6 under card member service, Elan, hotspot service for 5 devices. Are those two connected?
They are not. The access points, I've been in conversation about our Wi-Fi. You know, Wi-Fi is such an important service that we provide to the community. If you were to walk outside right now, all of our study rooms, patrons are using the Wi-Fi. We have people working remote, running their businesses. They're using the Wi-Fi. Teens are studying using the Wi-Fi. It's really helpful. Sometimes people are sitting outside using the Wi-Fi on a nice day. So anyway, the Wi-Fi has been not operating well.
Right,
I had patrons reporting that it would just be gone in certain areas.
And would that be access points?
Yep. And so the access points that support the Wi-Fi, they were old. They're very old. And so we got some new ones and we're in the process of implementing them. It's really exciting.
That's what I was wondering if that was...
The hotspots are just...
Is that what gets rented out?
Yep, things that we circulate, and we only have.
Then I understand.
Yeah, and we only have a few of those hotspots, but it's helpful for people who are like going camping and want to access our resources, or just other things like that. So.
And the smartboard software would be for the children's area.
Correct.
And we don't have any other smartboards.
Correct. Yeah, one smartboard, and they've been using it to during story times, so incorporating that technology into the story times, which is exciting. So,
and
thanks to the Women's Club. No, Lions Club. Women's Club gets the furniture.
On the budget worksheet on page 9, looks like we went over on health insurance allowance and library funds expense. Otherwise, everything is in good shape. It looks like we're going to come in quite a bit under, or you think we're going to be pretty much where we
yeah, so a couple of call outs. So the health insurance, that goes over, but that means that something else will be under. So for example, that health line item, that will be under. If someone opted for the health insurance, then the other health one goes under. So those sort of, if one's under, the other's over. It just depends on what people select.
And the allowance is less than probably what we pay out in insurance itself.
It can be, yes. Regarding this, I mean, there's end-of-year projects that are coming in. So this is not a good example of what we'll ultimately be at. Next month in January, we have lots of bills circulating right now for end-of-year purchases and collection purchasing and whatnot. And, there are some things that I always wait just to make sure that we don't have any major disasters before So
we got a week and a half.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
But one of the areas I know we will go over on is the building and maintenance, and that's just because a couple of things. grinding of the concrete. We had some trip hazards. I wanted to
Yeah, I
take care
saw
of
that.
that.
Mhm.
That's going to be huge, but I didn't want to wait to do that, with winter coming and snow covering it.
Right.
So there are a few other things coming up, but I know exactly how much we're going to go over, and I've accounted for that in another line item. And
Okay.
so, as the city says, the bottom line is what truly matters. And
Yeah.
so I will make sure I account for that so we will not go
If
over.
I remember correctly, anything that's left goes back into the general fund. It's not, we don't have a savings account, if you will. It
Yeah.
all goes right back.
I mean, the sense that I got from the board is, yes, that you don't, I think it is a good relationship we have with the city, and so not trying to.
Do you know if all other departments do that as well, or are we the only ones, or?
I think.
No, I mean, I think
Yeah,
that's,
that's
generally
procedure.
Yeah,
how
I
it.
think Alderman Wolf had said that it was pretty much.
Yeah, I
procedure.
had-
Yeah, I mean that
forgotten.
is
Yeah.
standard. I mean, the
As it
statute.
should be, I guess.
Right, yeah, and I
It's-
mean, again, some libraries in different cities do it differently. Some
Mhm.
do have but I think this is the best relationship we
To do.
have, and I think it just makes sense to do it that way. I don't see any other way making sense. So
It shows, I guess, in essence, fiscal responsibility. You came in with this budget, and if we're under it and they're getting something back, if something happens and
Yeah.
we need to go to them for something else, it shows that we're very
Exactly.
responsible.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
don't think anyone on the planet looks to a library for profit.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and I mean, it doesn't make sense to war chest it because,
It does
as you
not,
said,
yeah.
the city is so generous, and if
Yeah.
we had an emergency, they would come, support us. So
Yes.
yeah,
Yep.
I think that your board's support of doing
Mhm.
that is I think the best way to handle that.
Yeah.
And then on the next page, there's not a number on it, so the budget worksheet, so just when you turn it over. Library taxable revenue is down, but room rental is up, and library friends revenue which was a pleasant surprise.
The Friends are doing awesome this year.
Yeah.
The book sale, people are reading like you wouldn't believe. And people are so generous in this community. They buy the book, they read it, and then they return it again, and that's so great. And then the friends can sell it again. So they're working so
Yeah,
hard
wow.
at that, and they're doing so great. And so so that's exciting. Room rental, we have lots of people paying for the public meeting space. Meeting space has been so important to people, and
Yeah.
so that's been a huge asset to the taxpayers. And
What would taxable revenue be, just a couple of examples?
copies. And
Okay.
faxes,
Mm-hmm.
things like that. And faxing, we still get at least 10 to 15 faxes a month. I mean,
Oh.
it's still a really important service, and there's just not a lot of places you can do it easily. So,
Okay, just curious. Thank you.
yeah, if I could mention something, on packet page 4, I took poor notes. Erin, you left me a note about when you left closed session on packet page 4, and I tried to listen to the recording as best as I could
Oh, yeah, I
to
had a
figure
question
out.
mark by that too.
I've got them circled.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I was going to
so
say
I was
something.
trying to figure out who did the first and who did the second, and I presume that the motion passed with nobody in argument to leave closed session. If we can't remember, then we just leave it like this,
Okay.
because we
Okay.
just don't know.
Okay.
We document it the best I could. That's my fault. Erin had left a note, and I kept track of it for so long. And then one day I thought I need to actually write this down
Yeah.
in the virtual file,
Yeah.
and it was gone.
It was gone.
And I have upended my office. So I apologize if anyone remembers. Great. Otherwise, this is how it goes into the
And I
minutes.
don't remember
I don't
who did the
remember.
actual motion,
No.
but we all voted yes to come out. But
Yes,
I
we
wouldn't know,
did.
I wouldn't
Okay.
necessarily open up the minutes for that.
Okay.
Since just leave the whole thing that way,
Yeah.
perhaps, if that's the right thing to do.
Yeah, that
That'd
might
be
be
my
all we can do.
recommendation. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Just wanted to call that out, and my apologies.
All right. Anything else under consent agenda? Any other questions or concerns? All right. Hearing none. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Abstentions? All right. Consent agenda passes unanimously. President's report. No formal report this evening. So we'll move into the director's report.
All right. Director's report, which is on packet page 13. All right, so just a wonderful shout out again to Courtney Metco, the children's assistant, who was honored at our State Library Association for Paralibrarian of the Year. That means she was in competition with other staff members from across the state, and she was selected, and she truly is an asset to this library and to the children of the community. So just wanted to shout out to that again. We are doing Christmas tree light recycling and plastic bag recycling. Both of those have been very well received. We're getting lots of drop-offs, and so that's a huge...
What happens with that? Because I just wrote down in my notes, and not that I mean it this way,
Yeah.
but is there an incentive to bring the bags to the library versus, say, dropping them off at Kohl's? Do we get money? Do we
No.
get it? And who takes care of getting them to the recycling place?
So we drop them off when we bundle
you guys
them.
do? Okay.
We're just testing it. If it ends up being too much of a burden for staff, we won't do it.
Right.
The logic in mind was that the library is such a community center initiative. Like I'm trying to think about me with both of my children, and if I can combined stops, it's just one other place I don't have to go. And so when we have parents coming in with kids, and if they can go to Storytime, pick up new books, and drop off their plastic bags, as opposed to having to make another stop and get their kids out of the car. So we'll see. If it ends up being a burden, too much to staff, we won't do it. We're just trying it out. The Christmas tree recycling is basically we are getting a ton of it. We're gonna drop it off. The metal gets stripped out of it and recycled. So it's just a way of.
I saw the whole bin was full when I was in a few days ago.
It
looks like
has
you
filled
must
up
have
3
taken
times.
Yeah.
3 times?
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
Wow.
So that's exciting. Let's see here.
I circled the Grinch escape room.
Yes.
Is that an actual room or is it an area or what?
So public meeting room 1 has been converted. The
Oh,
staff
okay.
have decorated it to look like a Grinch scene. And if you want to take a peek on it on your way out the door.
May we?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really cool. So almost all the spots are filled
I was
already.
going to ask that question. I
Yeah.
bet.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Great timing.
It's perfect. Kids are so excited. The families are so excited to do it. We have some Girl Scout troops signed up. So
Fun.
the staff, Amanda and Jolyn, are putting a ton of effort into transforming that space. And again, it is fun. It's a family activity, but also it develops logic and critical thinking skills because
right.
there's a ton of puzzles there. So it's
For
just
adults as well.
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
and they test it on me every year, and I never get out. So
You don't.
no, so-
That'd be me too, probably.
So that's
Overthink it.
yeah. Well, yeah, it was.
In article number 4, I saw on the city website how we had won the best tree in
Yeah, how exciting
Another-
is that?
another feather.
Yeah, that was really fun. Love working with the chamber for Jingle on Janesville. We had a children's craft that kids could pick up. We did the Jingle Bell Hunt where kids could, or anyone really could look for it. We had patrons writing book recommendations on snowmen, and then they could get a candy cane. And then we entered our tree, and a special call out to Emily Bulwark, one of our library aides. She is the one who went home and decorated all of the little books and put them on the tree. And really special call out to her for creativity, because I told her, you only decorate the bottom third of that tree because I don't want you getting hurt because that tree is tall. The next morning I come in and it's all decorated, and I went, defiance, insubordination. And I said, how did you get that up there? And they found a way to rig it with like a meter stick or something. They listened to me and still managed to get it done. So that's
Wow.
that is initiative to.
Yeah.
Wow.
That sounds like George's last name, is it?
George is Woolwork and she's Emily Bulwark. If I'm pronouncing it correctly.
So you said that. Wow.
And I'm
Yeah.
sorry, is the tree here now? Or
Yep,
was
the
it
tree
part
is
of it?
here, and
It
it's
is.
still
where
decorated.
Okay,
Yep.
all right.
So-
Because then I'll have to give a special
I
look at that. I
complimented
didn't know
George
if it
on
got
it.
lost
He
in
said-
jamming or what.
Don't compliment me. I didn't have anything to do with it.
What-
But stand it up.
Well, but you know what I was going to say? Well, first of all, he was huge in getting it stood up. And he also put all the ornaments on the tree and the lights. And so we're so great. And he put the wreaths up on the inside and outside. So
yeah.
as always, at the end of the year, a special thank you to George. When, as a reminder, when the Hales Corners trustees had stopped by, they had said what a beautiful library we had. And it is large in part to this building, 21 years old, being maintained impeccably by George.
By George,
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
that is,
Thank you, George.
thank you, George, on
Thank
the
you.
record.
And then I have one last circle on that
Yeah.
page 14. We're starting with the code of conduct policy. In the updates.
Mhm.
For whom? Code of conduct.
For the library. It's
For patrons of the library?
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's
and
all.
that was when we spoke about the photography policy, which I had
Yes.
wanted to prioritize due to the legality of it, legal changes we needed to make. One of the comments was made like, wow, we refer back to how we can use the code of conduct alternatively, but it would have been helpful to see this policy because it's such a core policy. And so I wanted to make sure that I brought that before you all next.
Okay.
So just know that that was not unnoticed or unheard by me, and so we will tackle that in 2022.
Okay.
Anything in the stats that you, or is that's part of this?
Let me
isn't it?
just see. I just want to call out that our next meeting's January 18th.
And I will be in Anchorage.
Well, that's
You're
no.
going to Alaska in January?
I do every
Have
January.
family.
Wow.
I know. I just say, gee, couldn't you pick a warmer
I
month?
have to enjoy those 4 hours of daylight.
Yeah, see, I got the sun in Florida. I'm going there in February.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I did want to call out February 15th is going to be a Friends fundraiser. It's during Library Lovers Month. We're going to have the Milwaukee Train group coming. They're going to have a huge train set up.
This is awesome.
Yeah, bake sale. We're going to have the Friends art sale. We're going to have little graham cracker houses that the kids can build. It's just going to be a lot of really fun stuff, and it will be a fundraiser for the Friends. So if you have time to stop by on February 15th.
Do you know
That's
the hours?
not a Saturday though.
Yeah.
It's not?
No, because my
26th.
February wine club is on Monday the 14th.
Then I must have meant the 12th.
Okay.
You're right, that's a Tuesday.
Okay. Yes.
So change that 15th to the 12th.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I was looking at that going. That doesn't.
Isn't
work.
that some big guy's birthday like Abraham Lincoln?
It is, yes. Yeah.
Maybe you'll show up.
Okay.
So please show up on February 12th.
12th.
On the 15th, there will be no turn.
No, because I'm thinking I want to bring my grandkids.
Yeah, that would be we would love to have everyone.
Yep.
And Janet has been here a year, and she's been a great addition. So you were asked about statistics. I guess I don't. Nothing to call out except let's take a look at library visits.
I'm asking all this because it's your end. Otherwise,
Yeah, our numbers are still not quite what they were in 2019, but certainly better than 2020. And
the only thing that's down is curbside, which makes logical
Yeah.
sense.
Total
yeah,
sense.
and you know what? I just want to do a call out to curbside. Again, just as a reminder, it doesn't cost us any money or additional separate staff time. And yesterday, it was a good reminder to me of why I'm still holding on to it. I had a patron call and say, I'm having hip surgery. It is really difficult to get out of the car. Can someone please bring me my books? And I said, absolutely. And it just took us, 15 seconds to walk outside as opposed to have served her inside. And that was huge to get her those books because she was going to use those in the hospital and for recovery. So
Oh,
And
It
she's
was-
going to tell 100 people.
Exactly.
I hope
That's
so.
a long way.
Yeah, I hope so.
Exactly.
So definitely a reward, and not a burden to us, in my opinion, at all. So, yeah, so that's
Good
that's
job,
about all I
Brittany.
have.
yeah.
That is
Yeah.
my report. Any other questions for my report?
All right. Well, thank you, Brittany. Let's see. We have unfinished business tonight. Discussion and possible action regarding the approval of the 2022 action plan. Draft 2. Brittany.
Yeah, so this is listed under old business. I just wanted to call out that we may not vote on this. I know we don't have as many people as normal, and so I could see a valid scenario where perhaps the board would decide to wait, just due to the significance of the document. But here we are, at least for a discussion. So I wanted to packet page 16. I just wanted to summarize the two options that I thought I heard from last time regarding the pandemic addendum. So I left both options in just so they were illustrated so you could see how they look. Option 1 is to leave it where it is. Option 2 was illustrated. If you go to page 22, the last bullet point in facilities, which is maintain public health standards using Muskego Public Library public health emergency protocol if needed, file location, and then I document where that location is, which then leads to this document, which you had all approved we had looked at long ago in a land far away. And so it just basically has the addendum attached to it, which was always the intent, which is to have something to refer back to if I ever needed it for additional public health related matters. So those are the two options. And of course, both options allow us to document the information, which is the most important thing. And, I know we spent a lot of time talking about that last time, so I really wanted to succinctly illustrate those options so we can see them, and it can allow you to sort of make a succinct decision. And then I know we didn't get a chance to talk about the rest of the plan, so if there's any other questions, especially about the rest of the plan, I want to make sure we discuss that as well. So, Aaron, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I would just kind of reiterate, we really didn't get to talk about the document as a whole, so why don't we at least review it this evening, and let's get any questions or concerns addressed, and if it's not approved this evening, hopefully look for final approval in January.
May I suggest, Aaron, that perhaps we do a motion to defer, just if that's what everyone wants to do for the next meeting, and then we can have the discussion within the motion to defer? What's your preference?
We could. That way, hopefully, we'll have more board members.
I'm just going to Brittany's comments,
In
to make
January.
sure that everybody has an opportunity to, have their final say, if you will, and she's not going to stop doing the things that are in it during that time. So,
Nope, I'm going to take a vacation.
Hey, yeah, she doesn't have to
Not
do
till
it.
last
What
night,
I'm
I
hearing
thought.
from you is pause everything.
A well-deserved vacation.
But whatever you want, it's just a suggestion. That's all I'm putting out there. So
I have a
whatever you want to
question.
do.
Do you take vacations?
January, not in December. December is evaluations,
Yeah.
closing the budget, closing plans. So January, I'm going to disappear
Okay.
for a little bit.
I think you should.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm open to deferring.
Yes.
If there are any pressing questions or concerns that board members may have this evening about the document as a whole, I think we should hear them, and if not, let's save it for January then.
Yeah, then
Yeah.
Nancy,
And hopefully we
you
have
can
more
read
of
through
a
everything, and if
Right.
there's something
Because
that
I have a
you
couple
have
of
something,
edits or
you can
suggestions,
let-
we put it in now, so then when
Yeah.
we go to the final, we're not updating those
Right.
edits again. That's kind of my
Right.
thought
Okay.
process, but again, you're the
It's a
boss.
good
so
thought
whatever you
process.
wanna do.
I'm not the boss. I'm just
Yeah,
another
you
humble
be the
servant.
boss.
No.
Nothing really jumped out at me that.
Yeah.
I found a couple things, but
Did you?
Okay.
Yeah.
I think-
we
Do
don't have
we-
a motion on the floor. So.
Yeah, we don't have a motion. So if we're deferring, we don't need a motion, right?
Do we need
Yes,
a
you
motion?
need
You
a
would
Does it
move to
just-
defer,
to
and then
defer.
We
in
would
the
have to-
discussion, we can talk about that, which everybody is agreeing to it anyway, and then do maybe the quick edits and that kind of thing within
Okay.
that discussion. That's, again, suggestion, whatever you are comfortable with.
Thank you. Sometimes these little tricky Robert's rules, we don't get to go through these situations too often.
That's a good thing.
So yeah, well, it keeps me on my toes as well. So at this time, I'll entertain a motion to defer this to the January meeting.
Because I think we're okay to do it this way.
I would
Sure.
think so.
I mean, we
yeah,
can do
the-
whatever we want with this.
Yeah.
Because I think you can discuss all of the edits and
Yeah.
that in a motion to defer. That
Yeah.
would be
Sure.
my only concern, but I
Yes.
think you can.
Okay.
So,
All right, well, I'll make a motion to defer to the January meeting.
Okay, Camille, thank you. Is there a second on that?
I'll second.
Gail, thank you.
Mhm.
Now, further discussion on the motion.
I have a few. Do you want me to just grab mine? Because maybe I'll grab anything that anybody else has seen too, or how do you want to handle that part?
Well, I would just say if you what you got.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
You okay with
Put
that?
it on the record.
All right. Page 18, under provide engaging services and programming to attract young adults. Develop programming. I just wrote for the remodeled teen area instead of in it, because I'm not sure what you mean by that statement.
I think that meaning that programming that will be in the teen area.
Yeah, so
And that's why I just said for, because it's, because in means it's inside the remodeled area, and I thought maybe there was a reason. for
yeah,
writing it
so
that way.
actually we do mean in because there has not been any teen programming in the teen area. It's always been in meeting room
Got it.
4.
All right.
And so part of the redesign was like teens, they don't think to go there because they don't do any programming there. They don't study there.
So,
So,
no problem
yeah.
then. That's I just no.
But as a super fun call out, we have seen teens already studying there, stuff spread
Excellent.
out, talking, laughing. So that was
That's terrific.
really exciting. So take a tour of it if you
Wonderful.
haven't on the
Yeah.
way out.
I was a
That's
little
wonderful.
surprised when I looked at the sliding
Yeah.
doors, I don't know what your panels,
Yeah.
probably, but is that they're felt.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Mm.
They look metal to me, and
Yeah.
that's what I always presume. But then I went up and touched
I
them.
touched
and they're,
them.
Yeah, and,
Yeah.
They're, and they're felt.
They're
so-
acoustic.
have to
They'll
go touch
absorb
them
some
now.
sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stop touching.
Yeah.
The next bullet point down, and I'm trying to whip through fast.
Yep. Yep.
For time purposes, investigate offering a winters. Is it winters or winter market?
Interesting.
Because you got farmers, which has the
Yeah.
apostrophe s. So I just pointing it out, not
Yeah.
making a comment.
Winters. It could be either or. I
Yeah, it could be
guess.
either or, and whatever you choose.
Yeah. I guess
Whatever you
I'll have to think about what I meant.
And then on page 19 at the bottom, I had a question mark by revised Muskego Library brochure. I don't want to say do we have one and show my ignorance, but I'm not sure what you're talking about on that.
We have one that has really bare bones basic information. When patrons get a card, then we hand it out. And so we are
So you're not talking about the calendar that's on the desk?
correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
That's something different.
Yeah,
Okay.
yep.
All right. Page 20, first bullet point, third indention down, implement a welcome package. And my question was develop, because do we have it?
We don't.
So are we better off there? I've got my committee chair hat on, sorry everybody, but
It's okay.
develop a welcome package for develop and implement, whatever you're comfortable with, but because implement would mean we had one and I didn't think we did.
Yes, we do not. You're correct.
All right.
So it should be develop a welcome package? Or
Whatever,
develop
again,
and
you're-
implement?
whatever you're
I like the
comfortable with.
and.
Develop and
Implement.
implement.
Because if it just said develop, I wouldn't actually have to do anything. Nancy's making me work over here by putting implement.
Must be in compliance with
Those action words, they're important.
Yes.
BLS. I don't even know what I'm talking about here. Special. Well, on the one thing that does make a little sense here is on page 21, first bullet point, 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth down. Use special budget tools.
I'm sorry, we're looking at where?
Page
First
21.
bullet point, 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth indention in. Use special budget tools.
Oh yeah, that was just when I was trying to track like what we were spending on the pandemic.
Okay, so it doesn't have it's not a term of art like special budget tools or
Nope.
anything like that?
Nope.
Okay. And then I wrote something down that even I don't understand. What kind of power, quote unquote, does BLS, I don't even know what I mean by that, Bridges Library System, have? Must we be in compliance with any directive they give? Because I think it was the bullet point 1, 2, 3 above. Coordinate with Bridges Library System on unified pandemic response regarding material. So I think my question is, can they dictate to you as the library system the content or anything like that? They don't have that kind of power to dictate to individual libraries what they do.
Correct. So
Okay.
we as libraries are all autonomous.
Okay.
Now there are things that we are unified in. So we do have a I don't want to call it a bylaw, but an agreement. Like we have to be part of certain, like we have to pay into the software.
Mhm.
Like otherwise it's like, well, what are you doing? You're enjoying the rewards of the software, but not paying into it. So there's certain obligations we do have. And there are certain things that we have to be in unison on because like within the software, you either turn on this type of notification or you turn it off.
Okay.
And so we as directors meet once a month and we vote and tell the system what we want done. So it's democratic in that way, but in most ways we are autonomous. And so, for example, there were some things, especially early on during the pandemic, where we had to agree we're going to delay, overdue notices as to, because we weren't accepting returns at one point. So that
And everyone had to do that in that case?
there were certain things, but we as the directors all voted
And agreed.
to agree or disagree, but either way, like they took it from us because libraries we're all autonomous in that way. So
Okay. Good to know.
We're autonomous, but we lend interlibrary, so
Correct.
it seems to me that we have to coordinate. with
we
the
do,
others.
and so we do coordinate, but like we can decide. There are many things we can decide to do and not do, but we have an agreement with the system that says yes, we will share with each other because people are willing to share with us.
With us.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of what I meant more about this was if they said every staff member has to wear red on Friday, could they dictate that to you
no.
and they cannot?
No,
I mean,
they cannot.
that's where the autonomous part comes
We're
in. Okay.
very separate.
That
Yeah.
could never be dictated to anybody anywhere.
Well, but I didn't know what, and that's just
Sure.
a example, but I didn't know where their power
Yeah.
lied.
It's not so much a power as
Advisory
They have an
and-
advisory and coordinative role, but yeah.
We
Okay.
need to coexist.
No, I'm glad.
Yeah.
But I just wasn't sure really kind of how that worked. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
The second bullet point down: evaluate future of virtual component to library programs. The way my notes look, you're missing a period
Yep.
after that. So in the second bullet point, you need a period there.
Okay, hold on a second. I'm sorry, we're still on page 21, or
Yes. Second bullet point, you're just missing a period at the end of the.
oh, there we go. Yep.
I'm suggesting under the bullet point below that you take out the word program on winter reading, summer reading. These are stylistic, so you can tell me to go jump in the lake. Daily library programs, and then spell out board meetings because you'd have more room.
I see.
Okay, but that's your choice.
Well, could you do
According to the
winter
line.
reading, comma, summer reading, comma, daily library, comma, programs?
That would work. Sure, whatever.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So
that's
you're
kinda
you're
what I was saying.
indicating
Yeah.
winter reading,
Yep.
summer reading, daily library programs,
Mhm.
and so you're only going to say programs once.
Sure. Yeah.
Your choice, of course. But next full bullet point down: design modified services, but two in. My understanding of the spelling of YouTube is that the T is capitalized.
You are correct on that. Oh my
Mhm.
goodness, I'm not hip at all.
Hey, that's why you have somebody else look through it. Okay, on facilities, page 22, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bullet point down. The only thing at managed library cash registers and pull-out machines, it begs the question whether they were managed before, if that makes sense.
Well, why would you say that on that bullet point when monitor library grounds, we know has been done before, it's
Right.
an ongoing thing.
Right.
So then why?
It just struck me as manage them, just continue to, it was kind of like, why aren't they being managed before? Again, these are just
So then,
silly things that as I'm reading
Yeah.
These are
late
just,
at night,
yeah, these are anything
routine
here
duties.
is stuff that takes up time
Mhm.
that I want to
that
document.
you want to list.
Yep.
Okay, sounds good to me. 23, services continued 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Provide readers advisory. Do you want the word group in there or some other word? Because readers advisory, is that all you want to say there? Or is it readers advisory team, readers advisory, because you say group later on?
So readers advisory is the thing we're offering. That's
Okay,
the
so
phrase.
no
readers
additional
advisory.
word.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, correct.
Communication and outreach, 3 bullet points down. work with community groups to host
Oh,
partner
dear.
events
Yeah.
or.
Yeah. I think, oh man, we mentioned this before.
Yeah,
and I
we
forgot
did.
to
We
correct
did, yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Oops,
we did.
Sorry, everyone.
We did.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down, then you have the widows and orphans, the word services. So my suggestion is that you take the and, make it an ampersand, and maybe you can pull that up. So communicate
number was
regularly
it?
with schools and use the
Oh.
ampersand, and early learning centers regarding library services, just to
Yeah.
pull that up to the
And
same
take away
line.
the
It may
period.
work, may
Yep.
not.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Anybody, did I miss something?
I had seen the period and the partner events or.
What is it?
Yeah.
Or does it
want-
come
it
up?
just-
to keep us
I
guessing.
was gonna say it was kept in there on purpose.
Yeah,
for us.
You just wanted to see if we were reading it.
Yep, you passed the test. Well done, everyone.
Well, I want to again thank Brittany for her
Oh
hard
my
work
gosh,
on this.
absolutely.
And to have this ready
Yeah.
ahead of time, I like
Yeah.
that.
Wonderful.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Well, it makes the committee's work so much easier.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Anything else to add to the discussion on
No.
on this?
So then we would just vote on the motion to defer, and then we're done
Yeah.
unless somebody has something else.
All right. Well, hearing nothing else, all those in favor of deferring this document to the January meeting, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? That motion is approved unanimously. We'll defer this hopefully for final approval come January. Thank you, everyone. New business? No new business this evening. Communications and miscellaneous business is authorized by law. I have nothing. Brittany, anything to add under that headline?
No, I do not think so.
Then at this time, I will entertain a motion for adjournment, please.
Move to adjourn.
Gail, thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Tracy.
Tracy, thank you. All right. Discussion.
Merry
Discussion on
Christmas,
adjourning.
everyone.
Yes, you
There's your
too.
discussion.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. All
If you celebrate, everybody does.
right. Hearing no other discussion, all those in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
Aye.
Bye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay. Abstentions? We are adjourned at 5:45.
Good.
Wow.
Thank you, everyone. Great
Happy
meeting.
holidays.
Yes.
We
Bye,
set a
everyone.
record.
Holidays.
We set a
All right.
record.
Take
We'll
care,
see you in
everyone.
2020
Yep.
too.